PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. Want to talk a little bit about auto shows. Got a picture of Jack Hollis right there. And the funny thing about auto shows is the massive amount of money that the manufacturers spend. As a sales professional, whether I had to pay to get in or they would allow me to work the show, because early on in my career, we could work the auto shows. And people would pay $11 to get in to look at every single manufacturer. I thought if somebody's interested enough in cars to spend money to get in to look at the cars, then I wanted to make sure that I got their name. I always had a little deal. Now, it's not going to happen this year because the auto shows have been canceled, but everybody wanted to look at the Land Cruiser. And way back in the early 90s, everybody wanted to look at and sit in the Supra. But if you had a family that showed up and they wanted to look at a Tercel or a Corolla or an LE Camry, that was the customer that I tried to jump on in the auto show, because if you paid money for your family to get in the auto show and you're looking at a family economy car at a very modest price, then you're about to buy a car right now. I got it that somebody wanted to go over way back in the day in the Dodge area and sit in the Viper. They weren't going to buy a Viper. And everybody crawls through the Land Cruiser, and they're not going to buy a Land Cruiser. So the funny thing about it is what do we do with the vacuum or the void that the auto show is not going to be here? Jack Hollis is one of the best speakers that we've ever had. I mean, he commands a stage, he's energetic, and you get sucked into his energy, but he controlled the narrative. So if he wanted to push the 2021 Venza, then he would do a tremendous job talking about the Venza and the technology, the new Sienna coming out. They would launch that in the auto show, the new hybrid truck that's coming out, the dropping in the V6 twin turbo in our truck. So all kinds of new technology, and they would control the narrative that the reporters would go back the very next day and start writing their articles for Motor Trend, Car and Driver, and then the bloggers out there would do the same thing. And it was funny because you would read what they wrote, it was almost word for word what Jack would say. We don't have that opportunity this year. So customers don't have the opportunity to go look at everything that's offered or be swayed by the millions of dollars the manufacturers spend at the auto show. So I know most of you won't do this, and that's fine. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't have a conversation about it. What are the key 4 vehicles that sell in your region? Everybody always tries to tell me what the Core Series is. Okay, so if I've got a Core Series and one of those products I don't make any money on, and really the customer is not really breaking down the door on. I mean, Corolla is one of the greatest cars ever made, if not the greatest overall car ever made. But if that Corolla is not a big money maker and not a big charger in my market because people have moved to SUVs, then to me, that's not one of my Core Series if my dealership really doesn't host passenger cars. There's a lot of regions out there right now. Texas is kind of interesting. I mean, a lot of SUVs, a lot of truck sales here in Texas. Gas is $1.80 on regular gas or below that, depending on the week. And so people are moving into trucks and SUVs. So that becomes my money maker in my Core Series. So I'm going to put together a small video archive, send out to all of my client base, and to be able to post it on the internet so people can find it on a Google search. And I'm going to call it Auto Show 2021. And so if somebody's on there looking and they code up auto show, well, the auto shows aren't out there, so I've got a real good chance, if I tag this the right way, to be able to come up on the first page organically, and more people are programmed straight to me. So what I would do is I would pick the core products that I sell the best, whether it's new cars or divisions from new into used or certified, and I'm going to put a little video out there and go, hey, KC Nix, I'm standing here by 3 of the hottest products we have in this market area. So I'm going to call this Auto Show 2021, and I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about Tacoma versus Tundra and RAV4 versus 4Runner. So give me a few minutes and let me show you the difference in these and the different buyers that buy these and the way you can personalize these vehicles and make them your own. So I really feel like there's an opportunity right now because, again, let me say this. Just think in your mind, if you look at all manufacturers and auto shows across the nation, how many millions and millions of dollars that are spent by the auto manufacturers to put on this giant production that is not going to happen this year. People are still going to buy cars. There's going to be massive money and incentives as a sell down. We got Toyotathon coming. Other manufacturers have dovetailed onto Toyotathon. So the push for the final quarter of the year is going to be revolutionary this year. There's pent-up demand. People are getting back in the market. They're talking about a second stimulus. And I don't know when it's going to happen, but I really believe if they're really talking about trillions of dollars, you know, $1 trillion plus stimulus, then people are going to jump back out there and start to spend a little bit of that money on replacing the car they have right now. So we are in a real good home stretch for 2020 and 2021 close. So this has been the Auto Show Think About It section of PK52, the Saturday morning meeting.